Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Digital Nomad Destinations on my show Digital Nomad TV, and bienvenidos Argentina. We're here in the capital city of Buenos Aires in the middle of December, perfect weather, and I've been trying to come to this city for as long as I can remember, and I've spent the last month living here, so I wanted to share a video about what it's like to live here as a digital nomad, to see if you should make it one of your next digital nomad destinations. In part one of this video, I'll talk a little bit about the cost of living and the lifestyle here, and then in part two, we'll talk to some of my foreigner, expat, or digital nomad friends about why they chose to make Buenos Aires their home base. So in this video, I'm gonna cover a few of the things that I like about living in Buenos Aires and a few of the things that are, pros and cons so that you guys can decide for yourself. So first of all, let's get to some of the basics. Buenos Aires is the capital of Argentina, and it is the second largest city in all of South America, while Argentina is the second largest country in South America. The city has a population of about 3 million people, but in the entire metropolitan area, it can be up to 15 million. So one of the most important things that people want to know about when they're thinking of where to go as a digital nomad is what is the cost of living. The currency is the Argentine peso, and right now $1 US is equivalent to about 40 pesos. And because foreign currencies are so strong here, you have really a lot of flexibility in what you want your cost of living to be. So it's important to note that the cost of living is going to be different if you are a local, if you are a local expat, if you are a digital nomad, or if you are a tourist. So I kind of break it up into 4 different categories. You can live like a king for quite a small amount of money compared to many Western countries, but you can also live on a really tight budget and still have a really good lifestyle for $1,000 a month, up to $2,000 a month. So while the base cost of living could be around $1,000 US per month, depending on how long you're staying here, that's going to affect how much you pay in rent, and the cost of living could go up to even up to $2,000 or $3,000 a month. It just depends on what your lifestyle is going to be. If you're a foreigner coming here, I think you can expect to pay anywhere from $500 a month to $1,500 a month. If you're staying short term for just a few weeks or month to month, then you can get an Airbnb, a co-living space like Selena, an apart hotel, or a regular hotel for anywhere from typically $40 to $60 a night on average. The same apartment that would be $400 or $500 a month on a 1-year lease could cost you $1,000 or $1,500 a month as a fully furnished Airbnb. So that's important to keep in mind. The good news is that Buenos Aires is a huge city with tons of different neighborhoods. So there's plenty of places to choose from as far as where you want to live, what kind of vibe you want to have, and how much you want to spend. And if you're renting a furnished apartment, typically your utilities are going to be included. One thing that digital nomads always want to know about is the internet. The internet is super fast. There's a wide range of plans. If you're on a budget, you can get 10 or 15 megabytes per month for around $20 per month, but the speeds go up really quickly from there, 50, 100, 300, or even 1 gig. So in my co-working space, we have 300 megabytes up and down. If you were going to get that at your home, it could cost you about $50 a month, or maybe even up to $70 or $90 a month between 300 megabytes and 1 gig speeds. Right now, we're at one of the many co-working spaces in Buenos Aires. I counted at least 20 or 30 different ones. The prices are quite affordable. It ranges from about $10 for a day pass up to $300 a month for a place like WeWork. So you can expect to pay usually anywhere between $40, $50, up to $150 a month in most of the co-working spaces around town. There's also a couple co-living spaces that I found as well. Selena just opened a location here in the Palermo district of Buenos Aires, and there's also a co-living place called Nomad Hub, which I will show you guys a little bit of and link to it below.
In pesos it changes so much, but in US dollars it's still so cheap, so less than $500
per month for Nomad Hub.
Yeah, for Nomad Hub, and it's insane because you get your own room. The new one that we're going to, that we're telling you about, it has a pool, it has a co-working space, it includes like Wi-Fi, it basically includes all the amenities that you need. And this is what Nomad Hub is doing great. They're mixing people that are traveling here for short term, you know, like expats or digital nomads from other countries, with local people that are like live here most of the time, like us, right? So like in my case, like what I do is I travel like 2 months, then I live here for 2 months, so that's why I love the flexibility. That was one of the biggest things. And then like the community factor came after, and it's so nice because you start meeting people that you wouldn't normally meet because you're in this environment, right?
The other major cost of living for anyone is food. If you're eating out, you can expect to pay, let's say for a bottle of water, usually about $1 or less. Same for a coffee, $1 to $2. A beer or a glass of wine, also $1 to $2. And in some cases, you can buy a whole bottle of wine for the price of just a glass of wine at a restaurant. For breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it really depends on where you go. I've actually seen the same food for vastly different prices on the same block. So for breakfast, you could get a coffee and a couple of media lunas, which are traditional croissant style pastries here, for anywhere from $1 to $4 together. And for lunch, you could get a salad for $2 or $3, and then down the street, the same salad could cost you $5 or $6. So you really have to be aware of where you're buying food, and remember that the price in pesos can keep going up and keep changing over time with inflation. For dinner, you could get, let's say, a burger and fries or something like that for about 250 pesos. And I've seen main courses on menus, appetizers for 200 or 300 pesos each. And I've seen main courses from 300 to 600 pesos each. So if you're going out for a nice dinner with a glass of wine, depending on the restaurant, you could pay anywhere from 450 to 1,000 pesos. So the most I've spent going out to dinner is about $25 for a really nice dinner, but you could definitely eat well for $10. Guys, it's time to get serious and start trying some of the amazing food that Buenos Aires is known for. I'm standing in front of Havana, which is one of the coffee shops that you'll see on almost every corner here. One of the most common places to come if you want to get a coffee and a dessert. So we're gonna try the alfajor, which is the most famous dessert in Argentina. So let's go give it a try. ¿Qué es el alfajor?
El alfajor, bueno, se ha convertido en los últimos años en un dulce muy típico de Argentina. Ha pasado por varias facetas, de maíz, alfajor de sable, dulce de leche. Y aquí en Habana tenemos variedad, romper ese estereotipo del alfajor típico argentino.
¿Y qué tan frecuente se comen alfajores aquí?
Te digo, cada 10 segundos en Argentina está probando un alfajor.
¿Y la gente los come todos los días o de vez en cuando?
Todos los días, y hasta personas que comen para la merienda, o sea, todos los días alfajores.
¿Con un café?
Con café especial, cappuccino, con frappé, de todo.
¿Y cuál es el sabor que más se pide?
El que más se pide es el de 70% de gas. Es un chocolate amargo relleno de dulce de leche.
Vamos a ver. Let's see what an alfajor looks like, guys. This is the most typical dessert here in Buenos Aires. It is chocolate on the outside, filled with caramel or dulce de leche on the inside. Try it. Oh my god, that's so good. So this is like a Buenos Aires version of the Frappuccino, but better. And then what is there to do? So when you're not working, Buenos Aires and Argentina in general offers a really great quality of life. Buenos Aires has everything that you would expect from a large city. It has amazing culinary scene, lots of bars, restaurants. It has a wine culture. It has lots of art, museums. There's lots of outdoor spaces. As you can see, we're here in Puerto Madero, so there's a lot of action, lots of shopping, boats, marina, apartments, pretty much anything that you could want. And if you want to get out of the city for a little while, there's plenty of places to go. To Bariloche, to Mendoza, to the vineyards, to Patagonia to see the glaciers. And you could go hiking, you can go to lakes, and pretty much do anything. Let's talk traffic. As you can see, there's a lot of it here, but the transportation system is actually quite good. You can rent bikes, there's buses, there's taxis, there's also a metro, but it can take a long time to get from one end of the city to the other. So that's one of the downsides of living here, is that you could spend a lot of time getting from point A to point B. The transportation is not that expensive. It's about 100 to 200 pesos for about 15 or 20 minutes of driving, but it could easily take you 30 minutes or an hour to get somewhere in the city. So let's just cover some of the basic pros and cons of living here, some of the things that I've liked and some of the things that aren't ideal. So on the pro side, Buenos Aires has so much to do, you'll never get bored, and it has really good infrastructure and good internet. I also really like the time zone being between East Coast time and Europe time, so that puts you in a really good side of the world where you can get work done, crossing over into multiple time zones during the work week.
I think that the most different thing is that you can allow yourself a really nice level of life without spending a lot of money.
The culture and nightlife and art are as good as it gets.
A lot of the things that I enjoy in life are at my fingertips here and affordable. There's more theaters here than any city in the world. I mean, more than New York, more than Paris, more than London. There's like, I don't know, 400 or 500 live theater performances every week. You've got a lot of different great music, and the food is actually getting far more international and far more diverse.
There's museums everywhere, there's tango in the streets, and bars and restaurants are open super late. You can go out until 7 o'clock in the morning, but if you're an early bird, you can also eat dinner before everybody else. So if you eat at 6, 7, 8 o'clock p.m., you'll never have to wait in line because everyone typically goes out to dinner around 9 or 10 p.m. or even later. So I've kind of liked that. If I want to eat early, I can just walk in anywhere without a wait. There's also a lot to do outside of Buenos Aires. If you want to get out of the city, you have so much nature everywhere. You could take the bus or you can fly to a different part of the country so you can get out and go hiking or kind of see the sights, see the glaciers, and get some peace and quiet. And for the downsides, because nowhere is perfect, I would say the location is not good for people who want to be able to come in and out very easily to go to different places. We're quite isolated down here in the Southern Hemisphere, so if you need to travel a lot for work, it might not be the best place for you. You probably want to come and stay for at least a month or a few months at a time. Speaking the language, so I'm fortunate that I speak Spanish, so that has made things very easy for me here, but some of my friends have said that they've had some trouble communicating, so I think it would be helpful if you know some Spanish, because definitely not everybody speaks English, nor should they be expected to. And another situation with the money, so I've noticed that credit cards and debit cards are not very widely accepted. So if you don't have a local bank account and debit card, you'll be spending a lot of time at the ATM. And with that being said, the ATM limits are very low. So the most I've been able to take out at a time is about $150. So you're gonna be paying a lot of ATM fees. Safety can also be a factor due to the current economic and political situation, but I haven't had any problems with that directly. I would just say to always be aware of your surroundings and be careful like you would anywhere in the world. So what about the digital nomad community? There are a lot of co-working spaces. There's co-living spaces like Selena and Nomad Hub, but because it's such a large city, you really need to make an effort to find the digital nomad pockets throughout the urban area. I hope that you guys like this quick look at Buenos Aires as a digital nomad destination. Where do you want to see next? Let me know in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe for more weekly episodes of Digital Nomad TV. Make sure to stay tuned for part 2, and I'm going to talk to some of my friends from the US who have made Buenos Aires their home. If there's anything else you want to know, just drop me a comment below and I'll answer there. And also you can check out the link in the description for my fully detailed blog with everything that you need to know about living in Buenos Aires as a digital nomad.